thank you for joining our 10th episode of Ask the Experts, Movement is Medicine. Today, we're in for a really special treat, and I'm joined by Sterling Payton and Frank Williams from Sterling Yoga and Wellness Center in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Hello, and welcome to you both.
Hi, thank you.
For decades, Sterling has been an advocate for older adult fitness, teaching senior chair yoga and movement and postural alignment exercises with a specialty in people who are dealing with MS, Parkinson's disease, and CIDP, as well as various other nervous system disorders and autoimmune diseases. And Frank is a competitive bodybuilder. He brings us a unique aspect of mental focus and strength to his classes, as well as a unique mind-body connection, and helps students achieve a deeper awareness. Many of you are familiar with Sterling and Frank as they have been frequent presenters at our online events, as well as our in-person events in 2019 and before that. So thank you both for joining us, and welcome, welcome. We are going to start with a couple of questions about movement and yoga, and then we'll dive a little bit deeper into meditation. But most of the questions have come from our members themselves, and we will just take it away.
Awesome. So, thank you for having us.
Yeah. It's awesome to have you both here. Thank you so much. And they're in a lovely studio in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, as you can see.
Yay.
So our first question is, how does movement affect the pain that I'm feeling all over?
Well, first of all, any kind of movement, any kind of exercise helps to release endorphins in the body, and the endorphins help to calm the pain. And also exercise and movement itself takes pressure off your peripheral blood vessels, and that in itself will also help release the pain.
So, and how often would you recommend doing some sort of movement, either throughout the day?
Every day, yes.
Every day. Every day. Mm-hmm.
Every day. Every day, multiple times a day.
But every day.
Yeah.
A little bit every day is better than a big chunk at once and then being sedentary.
Okay, good, good.
I mean, and everything counts. I mean, just walking up and down your steps a couple of times, that's still movement. And like going in and out of your car and trying to park further away from the door at a grocery store or something, that's all going to count as your movement. Like just, right. You have to do something every day.
Right, right. And it's even if it's just standing up and walking around the office, yeah. You know, we all get into that zone with our computers and hours can go by. We've all gotten sort of sucked into that before. So very important to get up and move. Second question, can yoga help with peripheral nerve disorders such as CIDP?
Yes, and the reason that is a great segue that you just said about getting in the zone with computers, because that's what happens, right? Sorry about that. You got to think about everything we do is like in this position of the computer, right? So like, you know, we get in the car and we sit on the couch and we do, you know, everything like artwork, we're holding babies, we're doing jewelry. And when you're doing stuff like this, the spine's getting out of alignment. And so if we create movement, it keeps teaching us where our natural curves are to our spine. And I'm a big advocate that the more you keep your spine in its natural alignment, the healthier we are. And why do I feel that way? Because you have 31 nerves that are coming out of your main spine, like that are coming, and then of course the nerves branch off and we can have millions of nerves after that, right? But there's 31 main ones that are coming out of the spine. And if our posture's bad, you know, we're putting compression on those nerves. And what do our nerves do? It's our nervous system. So it sends signals to the body how to function, how to act, how to breathe, how to manage all of our inside organs and stuff. And so if we're like, you know, slanting all the time, or, you know, then what happens is typically then there's a lean. And so we're compressing and putting pressure on these nerves. And so can it help us? Yes, absolutely. I believe that the more we move and figure out our spine into a better alignment, our peripheral nerves will be happier because the main nerves aren't being strained.
Right. Makes perfect sense. It's kind of common sense, right? Right. So these little simple tasks or these little simple exercises that you incorporate into your day make such a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Right? So can yoga or meditation help with chronic fatigue. Chronic fatigue is something that many of our patients deal with, either chronic fatigue or just fatigue in general. Is that something that yoga or meditation can help with, or both?
Definitely both. And just the body itself, when we're out of alignment, you think of how much harder the body has to work, how much the muscles have to work to stabilize and get you back into alignment.
Mhm.
It's no wonder we're tired at the end of the day. If you're holding something up in this position, right, you imagine all these muscles pulling, trying to, it just takes so much more energy that if your skeletal structure is in alignment, the muscles can relax and just be healthier and be more natural.
Yeah. So do you recommend doing meditation and or yoga before bedtime or a little bit earlier in the day, or what time of day? Sleep.
It's different. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, for everyone, like we break our stuff up, you know, we don't typically do everything in an hour or an hour and a half class. We
Mhm.
really believe in like this being a lifestyle, as opposed to like, oh, I have to get this like hour of exercise in, you know, so like we might do some stretches in the morning, some yoga stretches in the morning, and then we might do pranayama, like breath work is really great in the morning because
Mm.
you want to do that when your nerves are really relaxed. So if you are somebody who does a breathing practice, definitely breathing practice would be better in the morning. And then maybe your stretching and movement in the afternoon or like early evening, and then maybe meditation before you go to bed for just a few minutes. You know, nothing that's going to work you up with your breath or anything. So that can be a nice way to like kind of fan it out.
Yeah.
You know, I don't typically do everything together.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's stressful for your nervous system.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
Pack that all in.
So yeah. So pranayama, you mentioned breath work, Sterling. Can you explain that a little bit? We use the term breath work and a lot of people know what that is, but there are some people that don't really understand what that term is and how breath work, again, is good for your nervous system and good for your health.
Absolutely.
More about that?
Breath work is nice. We call it pranayama in our yoga classes. And what it is that you're just doing some training for the breath, just like anything else. Like we train our bicep to work because we keep picking things up, or we train our mind by playing piano or doing puzzles, or anything we do, we want to train. And so we don't even realize, I think, in our culture, because of us sitting like this and doing this slouching position, how much we cut off the diaphragm and put strain on the diaphragm. So we are sometimes holding our breath during the day we don't even recognize. And then that can cause chronic fatigue, because if you're slowing your breath down and your body feels labored and your organs are like starving for that breath, you're tired by the end of the day, you know. But if your body, it's like we put gasoline in our car and we're using the super premium instead of just that bottom level unleaded. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, you want to, you know, you can make yourself feel better just by taking care of yourself in little ways, like lifting off your diaphragm, finding out what your breath work is. Sometimes we don't even know that we're not even breathing into this right side. What if you've been driving a car for 40 years of your career and it's all like this and you don't even realize you're doing stuff like this? And then we start being like, here, why don't you put your hands here? You're like, oh my God, I don't even breathe over there at all. Like,
very true.
Train like moving. I don't typically train the breath from the organs because I don't like to tax our organs, but I'll train our breath from like our skin, which I guess is bad because that is an organ, one of our biggest organs, but that's the only organ I direct it from, or bones. And so then you can invite these organs out into them and they have space, as opposed to always like putting pressure on ourselves to do more and like, you know, make it better and make it more grandiose. Like we're just like inviting our organs into that space that we just created. So yeah, breath work is just like another way of training anything else that we do.
I've heard the term belly breath, which I've actually belly breathing, and I've tried that practice before. And to your point, you don't even realize that you're not taking a deep breath until someone says, make sure your belly expands.
Yeah.
Most of the time we're breathing from here up instead of all the way down and up, right?
Right.
So that does really make a remarkable change in your energy level, I think.
It does. It really does.
Yeah.
That's a very natural breath too. If you have a chance, look at a baby and watch a baby breathing. It's something that happens naturally, But
Mhm.
unfortunately, in our lifetime, we start to lose that ability. And then
Right.
all of a sudden we're cutting off that breath. We're shallowing the breath.
Exactly. Exactly.
And one of the things that is going on right now with COVID is that, God forbid you ever get it, but with it being attacking into the lungs and breathing, they're having a lot of really great success putting people on their prone, like face down,
Mm.
and declining them a little bit so they can breathe into their
Interesting.
back body. Well, if you've never done any breath work, you're not the person that's going to volunteer to do that. You're like, now I'm face down, and
Yeah.
you're panicking.
Right.
But if
True.
if you're used to that kind of practice, that training,
Yeah.
this is going to be more easy for you to be like, okay, let me try this. Oh,
Yes.
look at how I'm calming myself down.
Yes.
Look how my lungs are clearing out because I'm just emptying the bottoms of them and stuff. So it is a training. It is a
It
practice.
is a training.
Like
It is
anything
a
else.
training. That's true. That's very true. You have to know how to adapt your breathing, really, get familiar with the fact that you can actually have some control over it.
Yeah.
So, okay, go on to meditation. Someone had submitted this into us, so I'll read it directly from what they said. I have trouble meditating for even 5 minutes and find it frustrating. Do you have any tips?
You know what? Start with 1 minute.
Start with 1 minute.
Seriously, don't put that limit on yourself. Like, oh my gosh, and just accept things the way they are. If you have, if you're getting frustrated doing it, then that to me says that the body needs that more.
Yeah.
If that's that hard, then your body's really desiring and needs that.
Yeah.
So just start off with less and don't put a limit on yourself. And
Good advice.
very, very slow, and realize that meditation doesn't mean I have to sit here and be quiet. And it could be one of your activities becomes a meditative type thing.
Mhm.
Now, a lot of people will be gardening. Gardening itself can become very meditative. You get lost in that movement. And
Yeah.
it becomes a
So it's more about a
aspect.
presence, right? Staying present with
Yeah.
what you're doing,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, you
Right.
could go for a walk, and if you're losing, I mean, of course, if you're with 5 of your friends and you're all like, that may not be meditative, but you're going to walk by yourself or with somebody who else is quiet with you, you can get into that meditative state too, just walking and, finding like my right foot, my left foot. You don't even, like you said, you don't even realize sometimes just in the shower, just take 2 minutes to just stand underneath the shower and just like let everything just like wash off of you with a couple of breaths. Maybe tell yourself you're going to do 8 breaths, and that's meditative.
And that's it. Yeah, I think people try to achieve this goal of meditating for a long period of time, and they think of, Tibetan monks on the top of
On the mountain, right? On
the mountains, yeah.
Yeah.
But it really is just a couple of minutes of staying present.
Yeah.
Right.
It could be just be several breaths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as you do that, anyways, you start craving it more. Anyways, you start to want to do it. Before you know it, someone's knocking on the bathroom trying to get in there.
Yeah.
Because you don't even know now you're on breath 24.
My turn. It's my turn to meditate.
Yes.
So you answered my next question was, does it matter where you meditate? So I think we've covered that. And the answer is no, as long as you get into that state, right?
Don't be locked into
There's
thinking you need to
people
be
that
in a
get into
certain space.
drum circles, and like that is meditative for a ton of people. And you look at it from the outside and people be like, these people are meditating because they're moving and there's a lot going on, but like that they just get lost in that, and that can be so meditative, where to somebody else it looks like constant movement and what's going on. But so wherever you're at, that where you're just like, I'm so into this moment,
Whatever you connect with.
yeah.
Great. Okay, what are the benefits of meditating? Can you give us a couple of
There's so many
different outcomes? What are the top 3?
Lowers your blood pressure, so we don't have to take so much blood pressure medicine.
Okay.
And just calming the mind as well, right? Just and the psychosomatic wise, even anxiety levels will drop.
They have science behind that too.
Yeah.
I mean, so
Yeah.
those are the things we just said.
Yeah.
And that kind of works with the breath work, but sometimes we put ourselves into certain states. We can create our own anxiety by just our breath. If we make our breath very shallow, all of a sudden we get very anxious.
Yeah.
So also when we're anxious, then our breath becomes shallow. So we can kind of do both. And we can't really control the anxiety from here, but we can control the breath. And with that, we can control the anxiety.
Yeah.
So we improve our mental state, we improve our moods.
I think too,
And
patience.
calm the mind and bring a little patience to the,
Yeah, it
to the body.
teaches you some patience,
Yeah.
to listen sometimes too. Like a lot of times we're always wanting everybody to hear everything we're saying, and we
Yeah.
don't hear what other people are saying,
Mhm.
and then we get irritation and we get anger, but like maybe that person didn't even hear us.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's so
Like
true.
we're having a lot of expectations when you can't hear.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Good, just take the thoughts away, right? Just turn the mind off for a little while.
Right.
Well, that's wonderful. And excitingly, we are going to get to actually experience some meditation with you today. But I did have one last question. Would you recommend silent meditation versus guided meditation?
Mm,
Or what are
It
your?
all depends on the individual. A guided is definitely, if you have a harder time with it,
Mhm.
guided is probably a little bit easier because you can
Okay.
just listen and you can bring your focus from there. Silent, sometimes your mind starts to wander and you're like, if it can be too hard to focus that way.
Yeah.
But then we've met people who have a hard time listening to somebody guide them because they just feel like it's their boss chattering or whatever. And they do better with like just staring at a candle.
Right.
Or for me, when I found my most meditative state is with music. And so like I could get more in meditative states going to like a gong therapy, sound healing. I could go crystal bowl meditations. Like the flute or people who are doing the Tibetan bowls, just where they're playing and I'm just like laying there in meditation or sitting in meditation. That works best for me.
Yeah.
So like it is really different I think you just have to practice and like
Try each
sample
one,
some stuff
Yeah.
and see what resonates with you.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. I may be starting out with some guided and then trying to do something that's silent or more music, something like that. But that's great. So you have a community of local practitioners for health and wellness and holistic living. Do you want to mention the community? I know they have some great.
Yeah, I would love to. Thank you, especially this year because we've had a tough year in these local communities, as you know, for small businesses. So I'd like to give a shout out to some people who are local to the Pittsburgh scene and who have been really big movers in trying to get this information out to people. Hopefully one of them is us. So Sterling Yoga, and we have a free meditation every Sunday from 11:15 to 11:40, 11:45. And you can just zoom in onto that. You get onto our website and register, you get the numbers, it's free. We also have a donation-based one that starts off with some restorative poses and then ends with a 20-minute meditation on Wednesday nights. And then we do other things here and there. I do like breath work classes, maybe for 6-week series. So, and different things like this. And of course, our yoga is always good for you because it keeps teaching you stuff. And then one of my favorites is, like I just said, was Mike Tambora, and he's from Sounds Eternal. And he is a gong player and a Tibetan bowl, and he's a meditation teacher, and he's just amazing. I love his sounds and I can get lost in him. And he has amazing amount of gongs that are so great. And he brings them places. He's been to the studio several times, and we just lay down with blankets and listen to him for an hour. It's so beautiful. Dorit Bauer, she is a person who's worked really intensely with UPMC and Highmark and different doctors and all kinds of people in Pittsburgh to document meditation and its benefits and science and medical science. So people believe in this. And she's like a really big person for that. Last 20 years, she has spent doing stuff like that. Linda Martin is a wonderful practitioner, and she's in the Bell Vernon area. If you're somebody who wants to connect with somebody, still human contact, she has a beautiful backyard and she does nature stuff, and she plays the crystal bowls, and she does Reiki healing on you and meditation and teaches you about meditation in really lovely ways. I really like her a lot. And then Lisa is in California, PA, and she travels too. She's from Sacred Center U. She is a new gong player, and she's been doing crystal bowls for years and a meditation practice. So these are some people in the area that are really great, They have stuff up on their YouTubes and their websites that you can do for free. So like, this is the greatest time right now to like experience some of these things and it not cost you extra money, but just to have the experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're great people.
But so they all sound fabulous, and I personally am going to try every single one of them. But we are
That's the
going
way
to
to do it.
put their links and a brief description in the comment section. It'll be either underneath or above on Facebook, above, YouTube below. So you guys will be able to link to all of those wonderful resources. They really do sound incredible. And now I would like to turn the whole stage over to Sterling, who's going to lead us through some chair yoga, followed by Frank, who will lead us through a guided meditation. And I'm going to pop myself off the screen here. And then when you guys are finished, I'll come back on and we'll wrap up.
Thank you, Maureen.
Sure. Thank you.
All right, everybody. So what we were talking about for our nervous system is that it's really important for us to try to get our spine to be in a happy space. So we're just going to do a little bit of stretching and movement before we get quiet and settle down into our meditation. Okay. All right. So we're going to just take our arms. We're going to take a nice deep inhale and just reach the arms up. Good. And then exhale and reach the arms out. You might find out right now you don't even have the space to do that. That's okay. Inhale, arms up. Then you can just turn your palms forward and bring your elbows down. Good. And sometimes just this starts to enliven the body a little bit. Inhale, arms up. Good. Exhale, reach the arms out. Nice job. Take your hands, place them onto your thighs, drop your chin to your chest. Come back to the center, look to the right. Good, come back to the center, look to the left. Center, drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. Center and left ear towards left shoulder. And center. Good job. One more round. Ready? Turn your head to the right. Good. Drop your chin towards your armpit. Look down at the floor for a moment. Feel these different stretches on the neck because they help us with our cervical spine alignment. Look to the right. Look to where the ceiling and the wall are meeting. So just tilt your chin up a little bit so that you feel this stretch. Good. Look back to the right and come to the center. Look to the left. Drop your chin towards your armpit, looking down at your hip, down at the floor. Look to the left. Tilt the chin up so that you're looking at the ceiling and the wall where they're meeting. You're not like throwing your head up or looking at the ceiling, but just a little bit so you can feel this stretch on the front of the neck. Look back to the left. Come back to the center. Take the right shoulder and roll it back. And if you feel like it's too much with your arm hanging here, like you're dropping it or it causes you any pain, you can always keep your hand on your thigh. So it's up, back, and release into your back pocket. Up, back, and release into your back pocket. Just about 8 of those would be good because it kind of just enlivens up the upper back around the thoracic spine. And then the left side, bring it up, back, and drop. Up, back, and drop, like you're putting it into your back pocket, not squeezing your shoulder, but just sliding it down into your back pocket. Up, back, and drop. Good. Just 4 more there, just so that you start to wake up the upper back muscles around the thoracic spine. Nice. 1 more, and then we can alternate them. That's kind of fun. And right, left, right, left. Good. 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. Now we're going to put those 2 spaces of the spine together. So the cervical spine and the thoracic. So take a nice deep inhale, reach your arms up. And if you can take your hands and place them on top of each other behind the skull, like you're pulling the back of the skull up with you, that would be great. But if this, putting your hands behind your head, pushes your head forward, it's better to just touch your ears or touch your shoulders, really. Okay, so don't let this push you forward. If you can, push the back of your skull into your hands and lift that up nice and tall so that you feel yourself lifting up off your cervical spine as opposed to compressing it. Now, this also starts to stretch the front spine, if you can see. And then we're going to turn to the right 4 times. We're going to turn from our rib cage. 1, come back to the center. Good. Twist to the right for 2, come back to the center. Twist for 3, come back to the center. Good. And twist for 4. Come back to the center. Good. Now take your arms up and switch the hand that was on top. Good. Pull up out of your cervical spine. Maybe even push the back of your skull into your hands a little bit so you can feel the front spine stretching. Then turn to the left from your rib cage for 1. Come back to the center. Turn for 2. Come back to the center. Turn for 3. Come back to the center. Turn for 4. Come back to the center. Good job. Reach your arms up. So you get that spine to lengthen again. Any opportunity you get to lift your rib cage up off your pelvis, try that out. Switch the hands again, which each time you switch your hands, you're helping your neurons in your brain, right? You're like kind of blowing the dust bunnies off of the neurons of your brain. Now we're going to bend over our bra line to the right. So this is not your all, right? I'm just like these people who can do a lot too. I like to come down and try to throw myself down, but you want this hip to sit onto the ground because we want to go up and over our spine. We're trying to bend the upper portion, the thoracic. Come back to the center. Feel like you're going up and over that rib cage, that it's not a goal to get to the floor, that it's more of a goal to pick up your thoracic spine and put it over your bottom rib. 1 more to this side. Good job. Head still going up, front spine still going up. And then we're going to bend over and come on back. Nice. All right, ready? Reach the arms up. Stretch that spine, stretch the belly. Good. Now, when you come down, try to switch the hands 1 more time. This is your last time, so you got to switch 4 times. And we're going to go up and over that bra line to the left. So we're doing the thoracic now to the left. Up and then over. So remembering that we're not looking to lower all the way to the floor, but that we're pulling our spine in an upward position. Plus, that gets us to wake up those abdomens, right? Come back to the center. 1 more time. Ready? Up and over. Now, if you don't feel stable here, check out those feet. Make sure the feet are pressing down and forward to give you some stability with your lower abs. Reach the arms up. Whew, and release, because I'll tell you now, you worked out your arms, your upper back, and your shoulders. So we're good to go there, right? So now we're going to take our hands and place them onto our knees. And then as we inhale, we're going to start to open up the chest, lift the chest up towards the sky, bring our chin to where the ceiling and the wall are meeting. And then we're going to exhale. We're going to bring our chin to our chest. We're going to bring our belly back. We're going to round onto the back of our sit bones, the back of our tailbone, stretch our shoulders forward, and then inhale, lift. Feel your spine growing up between your arms first before you start throwing your belly forward. And instead of throwing that belly forward, feel like somebody's just pulled you up from your sternum and you're looking at where the ceiling and wall meet, and then exhale back in and just ride your own breath for about 4 of those. Good. So we inhale, feel your spine grow first. Then open up the chest, open up the front spine and your chin, and then bring your chin in, bring your thoracic spine back, roll your belly up over your pubic bone. Good. And back. And don't get tied up that you have to inhale and exhale for 1. If you start exhaling right here, that's okay, that's fine. Do not get strained about that. The nice thing about breath work is that you are going to eventually breathe. So if nobody reminds you, honestly, that's the one involuntary action we have that your body's like, listen, I'm just going to take over. And you'll still be breathing at some point. Inhale, lift if that's good for you, and exhale. But if you need to take a full breath for each one, go ahead. Come back to the center. Good. So now this starts to move the spine from front to back. We move the spine from side to side a little bit. We did some twisting up here. We did some lengthening of our cervical spine. So now we're going to use the lower part of our spine a little bit. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to pitter patter and see if we can turn over to the left. Let's go to the left this time. All right, and then what we're going to do is same thing, arms lift up, because we always want to try to start with a lifted spine, a lifted back body, right? It's not about throwing yourself up, right? Because then you're just cutting off the back of the diaphragm. So we want the back, the front, and the sides of the diaphragm, everybody to go up. And then as we turn from the rib cage, grab a hold of the chair. Now, if you have a shoulder injury, this might be a lot, so we'll show you on the next round what to do for a shoulder injury. But right now, our focus is the spine. So we're trying to get our spine to grow tall first. And then we use our right hand to pull the chair. We use our left hand to push the chair. Then look over your shoulder to bring the cervical spine into it. Beautiful. Unwind. So I don't stay in twists long. Twists are compressions of the spine. They're good for our muscles, but you don't want to hang out in them forever. Just do more, right? Now let's pitter patter over to the left side of our chair. Or right side, I'm sorry, right side. And this is good for you to learn this pitter patter because it's how you get in and out of the car when you get older. I'm telling you, right? Inhale, reach your arms up. Good. As you exhale, start to turn from your rib cage and then grab a hold of the chair. Feel your spine getting nice and tall in between that space. See if you're leaning forward. See if you're leaning back towards the back of the chair. See if you're pushing away from the chair. Try to get your spine to come right up over that pelvis again. Now, take the left arm, pull the left arm, take the right arm and push the right arm. Now start to look over your shoulder to add the cervical spine. Release. Good job. One more time each side for your spine. And then we'll show you what to do if you have a shoulder injury. So if you're, you start with your spine tall, but when you come back, maybe you pull your arms down next to you here and then turn to grab a hold of the chair so that the shoulder is not as agitated. So Frank's showing you again. You can pull your arms next to your rib cage and then grab a hold of the chair. We're going to pull the chair with the right hand. We're going to push the chair with the left hand. Look over that shoulder to get a cervical spine in there too. Good. Spine is tall. Balance yourself over those two butt bones. And then release. Last one. Ready? Switch. Good. Ready? Take a nice deep inhale, reach your arms up so you start your spine tall. But now you're like, I have a shoulder that kept getting caught. So I'm going to bring my elbows alongside of my rib cage and I'm going to turn to grab a hold of the chair because then I can still practice the twist without agitation into my rotator cuff, my shoulder. Now you're using your left arm to pull the chair and your right arm is pushing the chair. Then you can look over your shoulder to get the cervical spine to come into it. And then slowly unwind. Coming back to the center. So as you see, this was a nice little way to kind of wake you up to get into some natural spaces. We move front to back, we move side to side, we twisted the spine. So hopefully you feel like your spine's enlivened to want to lift up to get ready for the meditation that is coming up with Frank. Thank you, everyone.
So just allow yourself to settle back into your seat, into your chair. And without changing, without altering the breath, listen to the natural rhythm of your own breath, making no judgments as to how deep or how shallow the breath is. And listen to the sound of your breath. The sound of the breath as it enters in through the nostrils The sound of the breath with the exhale. As the body releases everything it no longer needs. And even take notice to the temperature of the breath. Is the in-breath a little warmer? The out-breath a little cooler? This brings our senses and our awareness inside our body. Return your awareness to the sound of the breath. We may feel the sound of the breath. Sounds like the waves of the ocean. As we gaze out over the ocean, we notice our breath doesn't just sound like the waves of the ocean, but the waves move with our breath. With our in-breath, the waves gently roll in. With our out-breath, the waves gently roll back out. With our in-breath, the wave gently rolls in. We feel the warm water gently washing across our toes and our feet. The exhale, the wave gently rolls out, washing away any stiffness, soreness from the toes and the feet. The in-breath, the wave gently rolling in. The warm water washing across our ankles. The out-breath, the wave gently rolling back out, releasing any stiffness from the ankles. The in-breath, the wave gently rolling in. Warm water washing across our shins and our calves. Exhaling, the wave gently rolls back out, releasing any tightness from the calves. Our in-breath, the wave gently rolls in. The warm water softly washing across our knees. Exhaling as the wave rolls out, releasing any soreness from the knees. With the in-breath, the wave gently rolling in. The warm water washing across our upper legs and our hips. Exhaling as the wave rolls out, releasing any stiffness from the hips, the upper legs. We may even feel the upper legs floating away from the hips. Lower legs from the knees. The feet floating away from the ankles. We return our awareness, our attention to the breath. Our breath controlling the waves rolling with the breath. Waves gently rolling back out. Your next in-breath just a little bit longer. Feeling that space within the body. And completely release with a slow, deep exhalation. You may wish to gently wiggle through the fingers and the toes, softly moving your extremities around. And maybe taking the head from side to side, softly massaging out the neck. Gently coming back to the center. And with your next in-breath, gently lifting the palms up towards the sky. And with the out-breath, bringing hands together in front of the heart. Gently bowing your head towards your heart. Merging the mind with the heart. And namaste.
Stay.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maureen.
I don't even want to disturb the peace right now. That was beautiful. Thank you both
Thank
so much.
Thank
It's,
you.
it's amazing, these small little routines, how they can just transform you, really, and give you such clarity and really just some calmness and peace into your life. So thank you both so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
I think if people can like kind of retain that, like just see how you feel for a few moments even afterwards. And if you feel that, maybe you want to start doing it more.
So thank you both again for an afternoon of Movement is Medicine. It was wonderful. And we hope to see you again really soon.
Me too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Keep up the good work.